The bruises on my back were shaped like a child's hand. I didn't find that out myself. My coworker May pulled my collar down in the break room, went quiet for a moment, and said, very carefully, "That doesn't look like an adult grabbed you." 4 little ovals below my left shoulder blade. A dark blunt mark near my ribs shaped like a knee. I hadn't carried anyone. I don't have children. And the part that doesn't come up when people hear this story. The weight on my back had been getting heavier every single night for 3 weeks. Breath. I was exactly the kind of person who doesn't believe in this. Open plan office. Sleep app on my phone. When something felt off, I went to a doctor and followed the list of stretches she gave me. Breath. Mei Chen worked in accounting. Most days our entire relationship was a nod in the elevator. She was not someone I would have called a friend, and she would not have called me one either. Breath. Which is what made it strange when she sent me to the bathroom mirror and told me not to rub the marks. I laughed off the question. Had I let a child ride on my back recently? Because it was absurd. Then I twisted my neck in front of the sink, saw what she'd seen, and took photos because I already needed proof that I was not imagining shapes. Breath. The shapes were clearer in the photos. None of that mattered. Not the stretches, not the sleep app, not the doctor. Not after the night I came back from that market. It was a cramped, loud place near the water. The kind of market where everything is old and the sellers don't speak much English and you pick things up because they're interesting. The bundle was on a low table, cloth tied with black-red thread. When I held it, I could feel the shape of something inside. Small, crouching, arms wrapped around its knees, head tucked down. Breath. The seller warned me. I only caught part of it through the noise, something about not putting it near the bed. Then he tapped the cloth with one fingernail and said 2 words in English. No mirror. I bought it. I put it on the shelf in my bedroom because I thought it looked interesting. That was my first mistake. The backaches started in the first week. I told myself it was jet lag, bad mattress, getting older. Reasons you can say out loud at work. When your manager notices, you're hunched forward. My colleague from design said I looked like I'd slept in an airport chair for 2 nights. Close enough to what I was telling myself, so I let it go. But it gets worse. By week 3, I was waking up face down with both hands numb under me and my shirt twisted backward, collar pulled tight across my throat, as if someone had been gripping it all night. That was the morning before May saw the marks. Back in the break room, she put her chopsticks down and asked if I'd bought anything old while I was away. That was when I thought of the bundle on my shelf. She didn't touch it when I described it. She looked at my face and said, "Don't open it. Don't put it back in your bedroom. Don't let it face a mirror." I thought she was overreacting. She worked in finance. We barely knew each other, and the idea that a piece of carved wood from a market stall had done something to my back it was not a thought I was ready to have. Here's what I missed. I went home and threw the bundle in the trash. Downstairs, first floor, under 2 pizza boxes and a broken floor lamp. I took photos of exactly where I'd left it. Breath. In the elevator going back up, my knees bent. Not from pain, from weight. Something had climbed onto my back between the 1st and 3rd floor. Not adult weight, not even close. More like a child being carried half asleep, all their heaviness pressing through the knees and arms. My shirt pulled tight across the throat. The bruises lit up like someone had pressed a thumb directly into each one. Breath? I went back downstairs with a broom handle, moved the pizza boxes. The grocery bag was exactly where I'd left it. The shelf in my bedroom was empty. My back was not. I stopped sleeping flat after that. I could doze sitting upright for maybe 20 minutes before jerking awake, because something behind me had shifted. The moment my shoulders touched the mattress, the pressure spread across my back, warm and close, like small limbs settling into place. I moved the mirror out of my bedroom. I covered the bathroom mirror with a towel. Then one morning I forgot. Steam had covered the bathroom glass after my shower. I wiped a clear patch with my palm, shaved badly, brushed my teeth. When I straightened up after rinsing, there were 2 cleared places in the fogged mirror. One was mine, at face height, where I'd breathed. The other was lower, just behind my right shoulder, an oval cleared in the steam, at the height where something hovering there might have leaned forward and breathed out. Breath. I called May from the sidewalk. She didn't say I told you so. That was when I understood she had seen something like this before. She took me to a man named Mr. Lin that evening. From the street his place looked like a paper goods shop, squeezed between a tax office and a nail salon. 3 plastic chairs, a kettle, a low cabinet, an old mirror wrapped in faded cloth. No chanting, nothing theatrical. Mr. Lin walked around me once, slow, hands clasped behind his back. He looked at my shoulders, the way my knees buckled when I tried to stand straight. I asked if the carving was cursed. He shook his head. You are thinking about the thing, he said. The thing was only where it waited. Then he unwrapped the mirror. He told me to face away from it and look only when he said. For a few seconds all I saw was myself. Gray face, bad posture, shirt bunched at the collar from pulling. Then the glass changed. Not like a movie, no shadow rushing in, no face. Just my collar pulled to the left by a small hand, 4 fingers, too thin, the color of wet paper. And behind my shoulder blades, a dark shape with its knees drawn up, its head tucked down, one arm looped over my collarbone like it had been there for years and had no reason to let go. Mr. Lin covered the mirror. Do not call it a name, he said. That was the only time his voice sharpened. We went to the canal that night after the shops on that block had closed. Mr. Lin retrieved the bundle from the trash room himself. He tied a red thread around my wrist and around the cloth, not tight, just enough that I could feel it swinging against my palm. Breath. 2 blocks. Should have taken 3 minutes. Halfway down the service alley, the weight shifted higher. I bent forward so far my free hand scraped the brick wall. Something pressed its face into the back of my neck. The thread tugged upward, toward my shoulder, like the bundle wanted to climb back where it had been. He'd told me 3 things before we left. Don't turn around. Don't look in windows. Don't apologize. That last one was the hardest. I kept wanting to say I was sorry. For buying it. For putting it near my bed. For throwing it away like it was nothing. The words built up in my mouth until my jaw ached. At the end of the alley, I caught my own reflection in a parked van window. I shut my eyes. The arms around my collar pulled tight, a child's grip, desperate enough to bruise bone. I walked with my eyes closed until May said, very softly, curb. Mr. Lin had set a metal basin by the canal wall, ash, folded paper, and a square of clean cloth on the ground beside it. Breath. I put the bundle on the cloth. For 1 second, nothing happened. Then the weight became so heavy I made a sound I still hate remembering. Both knees hit the concrete. Something small and cold pressed its forehead between my shoulder blades. I said, this is not your place. The hand at my collar tightened. I said, "Come down now." My shoulders emptied. That's the only word I have for it. The pressure slid down my back and was gone so suddenly I fell forward on both hands. Air went into my lungs without dragging past anything. My neck straightened by itself. Behind me, May was crying. The bruises took 9 days to fade. I slept 10 hours that first night, flat on my back, arms loose at my sides, the way I used to sleep before the trip. Mr. Lin told me 2 things as we walked back. Keep the bedroom shelf empty for a month. Don't bring old things into a sleeping room again. He said it the way a dentist tells you to floss, which somehow made it easier to believe. I travel with less luggage now. I buy postcards. I buy bottled water. Once, in a market in another country, I saw a tray of old charms under a glass case and felt my shoulders pull forward before I'd even stepped close. Nothing followed me home after that. If someone selling you an old object tells you not to put it near your bed, if they tap it with one finger and say 2 words you weren't expecting, believe them the first time. You will not get a second warning. If that story had you checking the corner of the room just now, you're not alone. For nights when you need more of that feeling, Audible has a full library of horror that will make tonight's video feel like a lullaby. 30 days free at audible.com / free trial. Some of those titles you will not finish with the lights off. Subscribe if you want a new nightmare every week. And save this video. Share it with the person in your life who thinks they'd handle it better than he did. Breath. One question before you go. When you travel, what's the strangest thing you've almost brought home? Drop it in the comments. Some of those replies are going to keep me up at night. Breath.